Good morning. And if you are someplace in the United States that's going to have any part of the eclipse, hope you get outside to at least bask in the glow. I have my eclipse glasses. We're here in Maryland, but I think we're supposed to see like 80 or something percent. So I'll probably take off for lunch around 2 o'clock, go out into the park that's right by here. Go take a look at the eclipse. As compared to a friend of mine who went to Niagara Falls, where there is 1 million people showing up just for today. So, but I guess the eclipse is a time for renewal and rebirth. And it's funny because somehow or another, and I'm not sure how I did it, but I got my cards confused. And took a deck of cards because we were going someplace, and generally friends would want a reading. But we didn't get around to it. But I thought I took one set of cards. I took another, blah, 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 blah. What it comes down to is that the deck I ended up taking was a brand new deck that I've never even used. I pull it out of the pouch because I'm thinking it's my old standby, which is the same deck but old. And I guess it's time for renewal because it's my Marseille deck, but it's a brand new deck I have hardly touched. So that's going to be strange for me, but there are no coincidences. This is where we take the universe into consideration. And part of intuition is just accepting things and then going with the flow. Good, bad, or indifferent, we don't know. I was kind of reminded once, it's like, what if you're driving down the road and you miss your turnoff and you're trying to get someplace and you're running late. Then you get all upset. It's about to ruin your entire day. He said, what if your higher power made you miss that turnoff so that you would avoid the accident that you would have gotten in otherwise? It's like, if you're 5 minutes late and you've avoided that accident, wouldn't you be appreciative? Wouldn't you be, wouldn't you actually be celebrating? So when things like that happen, it's like a negative coincidence that we don't even know about. It's one of those things not to take for granted. We miss an exit. It's like, well, you have a choice of either taking the exit and getting into that accident, or just accepting that the universe, a higher power, or whatever, has said, all right, you're going to be 5 minutes late, but let's skip that exit. So what that all comes back around to is accepting coincidences for what they are. And that's why I'm using the new deck. Which is my roundabout way of saying that. So, let's see. I'd already started early today with relaxing my neck, relaxing my shoulders, feet firmly planted on the ground. Listening to the cards like they're the sounds of the ocean. Taking that breath and relaxing. Getting ourselves into a receptive mind. So what does the universe have for us today with our daily inventory? Let's see. Let's see if there's any tips or tricks or any angers or resentments we need to look at. So if we acknowledge them now, if something happens later on, instead of just reacting, we can take a breath and say, oh, I've meditated today. I realize my anxieties. I realize my stress. I'm just going to go out for a walk. Today, I'm just going to go take a look at the eclipse and not get into that argument. So, Here we have our stack. I'm going to make our 3 different stacks here, each one a different thread going out to the universe, each one a different thought, each one a different conversation. And if you believe in the multiverse, each one of these is a different path, because this conversation will lead us down a different path than this conversation or this one, and whichever one we choose means we're going to be leaving 2 other paths to go in this direction. So it's Monday morning. Let's take a look at what's underneath everything. Let's take that bottom stack. Let's do the 3 and 1. Let's take that breath, and I'm going to flip each card over one at a time, just like we do in the pages of a book. And we have the Tower. So, the Tower, or if you watch Dark Shadows, the Tower of Destruction. Everybody sees how negative this list looks. We've got the flames, the light, the lightning coming down, and it's knocking the top off, and we see people falling out. But originally this card is called La Maison Dieu. It is the House of God. And why do we call it that? Because this is the light of truth. And as I always point out when I'm reading for people with this card is, what is the one thing that hurts worse than a lie? What is the one thing that hurts worse than a lie? Is the truth. And so the truth can bring down homes and kingdoms. It rattles foundations, but that's the only way you can have a solid foundation to build upon, is if we take a look at the truth. Which is what this Valet de Prix, this Page of Swords is doing. We have to start over fresh, and pages are just that. Pages are when we are in a mindset, like when we are younger, which means we're more receptive. Swords are about ideas, so this is about being receptive to ideas. When we see court cards can be ourselves, somebody else, or it could be part of the situation. But here we see where something is a grand awakening. I mean, it's that big awakening. But as this Page of Swords, we can build from that. And so with the Ace of Cups, cups are about emotions and feelings and spirituality. Cups are, the aces are brand new beginnings. So pages are essentially the aces of the court cards, if you think about it, because it's about that new beginning. But it's the personality that we have to assume when we need to rebuild. And the cups are that's starting over again, that acceptance. It's that new moon. So here's the advice card, which is death. And death is not the horrible thing we think it is. Death is about transition. Death is moving from spring to summer, summer to fall, fall to winter. And we watch the crops die. We watch the seasons change. And sometimes when it's that cold, it's hard to acknowledge and it's hard to accept that change until spring pops up again and we start seeing that first blossom and that first ray of hope. So the death card is just about the transition into something new. And it's not easy to do that sometimes because it means letting go of the old. It means allowing ourselves to go through whatever the tower might be. Sometimes we just think it might be easier to close our eyes to the tower, not deal with the transition. I don't want to start over again. But sometimes you have to just rip that Band-Aid off and let that wound get a chance to heal. Otherwise, those wounds that we have will just fester and get worse. So today's reading is about accepting the truth and moving on. So whether we're at work and we need to just open our eyes to something, or if we're at home and we recognize something, and at first we need to just use our intellect, and it's like the Page of Swords is just that new awareness. A page is open and accepting to something new, and we have to know that it's going to open up a new light. It's going to start something new for us. We need to believe that after the winter, that first green leaf that appears is just a start of something new. We just need to allow ourselves for the transition. So, and with that, I hope everybody has an amazing day, an amazing week, an amazing evening. And with that, I'm going to be here again. Wow, how many weeks have I been doing this now? I need to count that, because this has got to be close to like 2 months now without missing a day. So, again, thank you all very much, and I just hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you again tomorrow.